Hey guys, Thrasher here, and we have a brand new V-Jump scan. Let's talk about it right now. Okay, so as you can see on the new scan here, we have two characters that are going to be featured. There are probably going to be a few others, but a couple things to mention here. These characters are going to be in Ultra Space Time 10. That's actually stated in the actual text here. By the way, credit to Goresh on the Dragon Ball Legends Reddit. He is the one that translated all this. So let's talk about these two different characters and how their stat spreads are going to work and what all this other stuff is. So on the left, you can see the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. It looks like that's the Super Saiyan 3 Goku that is fighting Buu. So we're getting a second Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Let's go through a couple of things that it says on the page here. So translated from Goresh, he says Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta will be making their debut in UST 10. We knew that. It's going to be in the beginning of March. And then Super Saiyan 3 Goku will be from the fight with Kid Buu on the World of the Kais. And then his super attack is the Super Kamehameha. He's able to use his main ability after only a very short period of time, and it significantly increases his card draw speed. So you'll probably be able to sidestep with him if you want to do that. And then it says Goku will start off the battle by being extremely powerful from the get-go. Be careful because he gets weaker as time passes. So he's going to be one of those Heart Virus Goku type of characters where you need to be ultra aggressive with him. Obviously, there's a different type of aggressive with that Heart Virus Goku, but you have to use him immediately at the beginning of the battle, be ultra aggressive, try to do as much damage as you can, and as the battle goes on, he's going to be less and less viable. So he's going to be the character that if you get a little bit later on into the fight and there's a Rising Rush on the way, he might be the one that you want to sponge it with if you don't have someone who's built to sponge a Rising Rush. Now, let's move on over to the Rage Vegeta, and then we'll talk about the stat spreads for the two different characters. Vegeta goes into a rage after seeing Bulma slapped around by Beerus. He powers up fellow Saiyans and Hybrid Saiyans when being switched out. His super attack is the Gallic Gun. So let's talk about those two first. He's going to be using the Gallic Gun, and as we look at his stats, we'll talk about him a little more in a second. He's definitely more Ki Blast based than he is Strike. So it seems like the range stuff is going to be big for him. But the huge thing is when you switch him out, he's going to power up Saiyans and Hybrid. So he's going to give you a few different options for teams that he can run on, which is really nice. Obviously, he's not a Hybrid Saiyan, but if you're running some type of maybe Super Saiyan 2 team or something of that nature in the near future, you can use him to power up your Hybrid Saiyans. Obviously, he's already a Saiyan himself, so he's going to be able to power up those Saiyans, and you could run that team normally anyway. And then this last part is pretty huge. So it says, using the motif from the My Bulma scene, he is greatly powered up depending on the amount of downed allies. So as the fight goes on, as allies get downed, he's going to become a very powerful anchor unit. So not only can you switch him out to make your other units stronger, when they end up dying and he comes back in, he's going to be able to probably pump out a lot of damage as your last man standing. So let's talk about the bottom of this scan real quick. So what it's showing down in the bottom left corner is just a bunch of characters from the movies. They're saying that the Vegeta will work well with those because he is also another character from the movies. And then on the bottom right corner, you can see they also specifically state something that I've been saying in almost every single update video for who knows how long. Hard mode 156 is the best experience in the game. One thing to note here is even though that's true, 156 is still the best experience in the game, there are a couple other options right now that are almost as good. So if you do the newest missions, I believe it's Chapter 6 and Chapter 8 of Part 3 of the newest book, that's actually going to get you pretty much the exact same amount of experience, and you're going to get better Rising Souls and Super Souls. So you could run that as well. So you do have options now. You don't have to run 156 of hard mode. So now that we understand that the Goku is going to be a very aggressive unit that you have to use immediately, and then the Vegeta is a unit that you switch in and out early on to be a bit more of a support unit, and then at the end of the match he becomes a very powerful anchor. They're kind of opposites, but they're both damage dealers. So let's talk about their actual stats. Looking at the two stat spreads here, I understand that they're, both in Japanese, hard to understand. So on the right side of the screen, I've put up my own chart just to show you what each of the 5 points mean. Now, here's the thing to keep in mind. If it goes to the very edge of the pentagon, that means that that stat is the best stat in the game out of all characters. If it goes to the one notch before it, it means that it's very good, but not the best, so like a top 10 stat. If it's any lower than that, then it's kind of middle of the road, and then if it doesn't move out from the center at all, or it's only one notch, that means it's very bad. So looking at these two characters, they're pretty balanced. They both have very good health and Ki Blast, and then the Super Saiyan 3 Goku also has very high quality strike damage, whereas the Vegeta is definitely focused on Ki Blasts. One thing that does scare me about that is the fact that the Vegeta is supposed to be an anchor unit, so if your other two units die, you're going to be using just the Vegeta, and if the majority of his damage is truly coming from his Ki Blast, it's going to be a little hard to use him as your last unit, just because it does take more Ki to use Blast over Strike, so he's going to be a little bit Ki starved unless something in his toolkit can give him extra Ki, which is very possible. We'll have to see how that works out. So that does scare me a little bit. But that's generally how these two characters work, what we can expect. I'm assuming that we'll probably get a third character as we normally do in most Ultra Space times. It would make sense to me if it were one of the Boos, but we don't know for sure. I think that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys think I missed anything, throw it down below and we'll definitely talk about it. And if you like this content, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.